I'm Glenn Darcy, Vice President of Product Management for Arturia. Today I'm going to be giving you a tour of our new DX7 V software. I suggest that you visit www.arturia.com and download a demo of the software. This way you can listen to the sounds on your studio speakers and follow along as I take you through the plugin. This will be the first video in a series on the DX. This video is designed to show you the basic features and functions of the DX7 V. We will have more videos that dig in deeper and cover more ground later. Based on FM synthesis developed by John Chowning, the DX7 was originally released in 1983. It was the first commercially available digital synthesizer. It not only set the industry on fire by being the biggest selling keyboard of all time, it marked the beginning of new types of synthesis being available to the general public. If you listen to any song in the 1980s, it will likely have a DX7 sound on it. From the famous electric pianos that graced every ballad to the percussive bass sounds that cut through many a mix. Prominent users were Chick Corea, Chicago, Depeche Mode, Devo, Jerry Goldsmith, Kraftwerk, Madonna, Pet Shop Boys, Tangerine Dream. The list could go on for an hour. Arturia has taken this classic synth and given it new life, an improved workflow, and a great deal more features. Let's begin. Start by opening the DX7 software. After you open the DX7, you'll probably need to set the screen size to fit your monitor well. Click on the DX7 V name icon and choose the resize window option. Choose the size that best works for your screen. When you open the DX7 V, you will see the basic page. This page allows access to the performance-focused features of the DX7. The first thing you will want to do is probably browse the sounds. You can choose the previous or next sound using the arrows next to the preset name at the top center. For a complete list of sounds, open the browser by clicking on the Browser tab. You will see a list of the presets in the DX7. To choose a preset, just click on the name and it will load the sound. On the left of the screen, you can use name searches and data filters to reduce the list of presets. Speaking of presets, the DX7 had one of the biggest library of sounds ever. DX7V using the import command will allow you to import original DX7 sysx files. One of the best ways to navigate the software is by using an Arturia keyboard controller. You can choose the controller model in the lower left-hand side of the screen. In this case, I'm using a Keylab Essential. Now from the front panel of the Keylab, I can choose our data filters by turning the data knob and pressing a button. And then I can choose the presets by selecting preset and scrolling up and down the list and picking and choosing a sound. I can also just use the previous and next buttons to choose the next preset. In the basic mode, the DX7 software opens this kind of performance page. What you get on here is you get access to your master volume, as well as 4 macros. These macros can be programmed to do a number of different things within the voice. In the center, it shows you the algorithm that you currently have. With FM synthesis, you build up a number of things called operators that modulate each other out to a final output operator. One of the best ways to try changing sounds is to quickly just try changing the algorithm. You don't have to know anything about FM synthesis. So you can take a sound like this, and we can just start changing the algorithms. You can hear that they retain some of the original characteristics, but they change On the right-hand side, we have master controls for the feedback. As you can see here, operator 2 is feeding back on itself with this little blue line. This is the master control for that feedback. There's also a pitch envelope control, and you can set the amount of pitch envelope that's routed here. If the pitch envelope is flat, then this is not going to do anything. You can choose your poly modes on and off. You can try changing portamentos or glissandos. And then we have a built-in arpeggio. You can sync it. You can change rate based on your beat clock, and then you can choose different patterns. You can also choose the octave range. So while I'm just holding one octave, you can hear it's going across multiple octaves. At the bottom, you can choose the original DX7 velocity, or you can change full range. You have to remember, this was very early MIDI, the first MIDI instrument from Yamaha. They misinterpreted the MIDI spec to go from a value of 0 to 100. You can choose between full range or DX7 range. New to the DX is unison and polyphonic voice count modes. When we start to get into editing unison detune, this is where we're going to set up how big that unison voice is. On the upper left, you have your transpose, you have a fine tuning, you have the amplitude modulation, you have a pitch modulation, and the pitch mod synths. These happen to go to what the modulation wheel is routed to. Now let's dig in a little deeper and start to dive into what this thing can do. To get a tour of the advanced features of DX7 V, continue on to part 2 in this series.